Here we go. Hey guys, it is me, Nicole Banks. I am your host of my Accountability Partner podcast, and of course, your tribe leader in my Accountability Partner tribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this amazing interview with an amazing productivity coach out of New York, Felicia Etienne. And I'm so excited. Felicia, thank you so much for taking the time today to have this interview. Now, from my understanding, of course, I know that you are a mother of three and a productivity coach. I can only imagine, I can only imagine what your to-do lists look like.
So you're absolutely right. A mother of three and trying to work from home, you can only imagine the things that's on my plate. So I help leaders just like yourself with accountability and as well as performance, really making sure folks get to that 10x performance. But a lot of things going on here. And I'm super excited for your community to talk about habits and creating habits that stick. Right? How do we do that? Yeah.
Yes. So as Felicia knows, this month is about creating habits and of course, letting go of old ones and creating new ones, because when you create a habit, after the 21 days that it takes to make a habit, it becomes a lifestyle and it's not so stressful. It's not, oh, what am I eating? You already know where to go. It's not, oh, what am I doing for workout? You already know that it needs to be 30 minutes. It's not, oh, my mindset is this. It's already there. So one of the things that Felicia was able to do is put a opportunity of amazing information. And so actually, Felicia, if you don't mind, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the show.
Oh, I love it. Love it. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. So just give me a moment just to get that going for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, if you don't mind telling me, how long have you been a productivity coach?
So that's an interesting question because I have been doing this for over 18 plus years, if I have to really think about it. Because I'm recently transitioning from corporate America. After 18 years, I worked with Capital One, I worked with JP Morgan Chase, some of the large companies. Within those companies, I was working with their top performers, really helping to drive bottom line profitability, but also driving performance and making sure we hit those targets and how do we continuously make those. And a lot of it have to do with the habits, habits that you put into place and the habits that, you know, and the habits that you put into place and the habits that you want to make sustainable for you and yourself.
Nice. Very nice. And so basically your previous corporate America position has really aligned you with what you're doing now on your own. Isn't that fabulous?
Yes, it is.
Doesn't always work out that way. So that's really cool.
Girl, this was a blessing. It wasn't a blessing at the time, but now I can say I had more time to spend with those three kids you mentioned. Age range from 4, I have 4 all the way up to 17. So you know how that goes. But it gave me a chance to really dive into my passion, which is helping entrepreneurs like yourself and your members, just really, how do we get the performance to the next level? So I'm excited to be here. And thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, of course, you're welcome.
So let's kick this off if it's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. We're excited.
All right, so this just gives you a little background on me, but guess what? I already gave it to you, so we can keep the party bus moving.
Well, one of the things that I loved about this, when I happened to see this, you sent me over this earlier, and I love the fact that what you love to do is travel, kickboxing, right? Because reality is we also have to have habits, and sometimes whether it's working on, you know, healthy lifestyles or working on mindset, we go full board. And I love the fact that you included what you love, because it really shows myself and my tribe that you love balance. And I coach that all the time. We really need to lead with balance. I love it, love it, love it. Good for you. I love that.
I love, Nicole, that you call that out, because balance is so critical. And one thing you need to do in your balance is do something you love to do, like you're sharing. Right? That's how you're going to get habits to stick. Have you seen the rest of my I didn't send it out to you, but you seem to have seen it.
I'm just excited. I know your style. I love it. I'm so excited.
Okay. So that just gives you a little background. And I know, Nicole, you're going to get the slides, so you'll have a chance to share this with your members as well.
Yeah.
So the next area, when we think about habits, one thing I notice for all of us, we need to define what is a habit, right? And why does a habit matter? A lot of time, the reason why habits do not stick is because we look at the outside, we think about the outcome. Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Oh, I want to run a marathon. Do we think about all the things we want to do? But when a habit starts, Nicole, it needs to start inside, your inner work. It needs to start with the identity. So as you can see in the slide, identify what's important to you. What's your deepest belief? Why do you want to shift this habit? So for example, for me, I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to make sure I'm strong and my mind is clear and I'm showing up powerfully for my clients as well as my kids. So the habit was I need to be physically strong and healthy. So what does that mean? Now I need to back into it to say, okay, now if I'm going to identify as someone who's strong and healthy, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Then I start to work on the process. What is going to be the processes? So that's what the next step is. Then I'm going to get to the ultimate outcome.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
If you were to look at the word identity, which you have in your graph here, which is fabulous, by the way, I love this. Would you also call that, a lot of coaches or a lot of top leaders are calling this the why? Would you call that the why? You're just calling it
that
identity.
would be your big why, right?
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
That would be your identity is your big why you do everything.
Gotcha.
Yes,
okay, love
absolutely.
it. Love
So
it. I resonate with that.
No, and I like this. You can ask me questions throughout. This is awesome.
Okay, good.
Right. So once you get that why, then you start to build from there, right?
Okay.
You start to build the behavior, because you notice what the slide says, right? 3 layers of behavioral change. If you want your habits to stick, you need to find ways to, from an intrinsic perspective, to get those habits to stick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
So one thing I like to tell folks when they're working on habits is if you got a sheet of paper, just pull out a sheet of paper, put a line down the middle. On one side of the paper, I would write down my typical day, all the things I do, all the habits I have, and don't be shy. Don't fake it. It's for you. Be real. Write it down. All the things you're doing. Then the next side of the paper, I would write down, what do I want to go? What is that identity? What's my why? What do I want it to look like? What is my ideal day? I would write that on the other side of the paper. So just think about that visualization as we go through this, because as I'm talking, and I would love for your listeners, your members, to do this activity.
Okay, you guys, you heard her. You better get the paper out and do it. This is great stuff. I love it. And it literally gives you a visual, right? Because sometimes we just go, oh, we're just doing it because. But once we see it on paper, I'm that visual learner too, that I need to know, oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's why. And that's why I believe in such a vision board at the beginning of the year. I always do the vision because it's vision, right? It's always in front of you. So this is great stuff. Love it.
Yeah. So just keep that visual in line, and members, do it. Take it from me, right? You got your accountability coach right here, Nicole. Do it.
Come on.
Next thing I would tell you guys to do is keep that in mind, because we're going to go to the next slide, and you're going to like this slide. So remember how you were talking, Nicole, that your members want to break some of those habits and include new habits?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to do at this point, right? You want to break the habits and make room for new habits. Absolutely. So going back to that sheet of paper, you took the time with the inner work to be honest and transparent with yourself, to say, these is my activities. These are the things I'm doing. This is the things I can do just keep it writing. Then the next part of the paper, you put another little line down. What I would tell you to start thinking about, what could I start doing differently? How do I make the things that I'm doing that we know is not right? You want to break the habit. Why do I want to break that habit? What is the pain associated with that habit?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Right? Because we'll do anything to avoid pain, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing stuff, we don't realize we're getting pleasure out of that bad habit, right? But you want to identify it and start to reframe that. So that would be a recommendation there. So on the slide, what you see, these are some 4 best practices, right? Make it invisible. If you want to break the junk food, don't have junk food sitting on your desk. I mean, keep it simple, right? Clean out your pantry. Think about what you want to do. Make it invisible for yourself, and then make it unattractive. Find ways to read an article, do something, Google what that does to your body. Find a way to make it unattractive. Then make it difficult for yourself to do this bad habit. Then the other one, make it unsatisfying, right? If something doesn't work for you, then you want to move away from it. You want to get a little more pleasure, because we do what we want to avoid the pain, right? So keep that in mind, right? So the next thing, now that you have that same list going.
I love that because I don't know why, but it just
Mhm.
reminded me of when there was an episode of Sex in the City, and one of the gals, I think it was Miranda, was eating chocolate cake, and she ended
Uh-huh.
up putting soap on the chocolate cake so she couldn't get back to it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't eat chocolate cake with the soap on it. So I visually saw it
I
making
love
it
it.
ugly, making it grow. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Yeah, that's really good
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, that exact. I love that visual, right? Make it
Yeah,
disgusting, something you don't want to deal with.
that
Ugh.
makes sense.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the next thing you want to do is make your good habits. Good habits can be just as addictive as your bad habits. We all
Yeah.
know this, right?
Yeah.
But the first thing you need to do is to make it obvious for yourself. Make it simple. Don't overthink it, because all of us, we get this motivation. I want to change it. New year, new me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And guess what happens? Not a
Hmm.
damn thing.
We
Right?
already know, right? Not a damn thing, she says. I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Right?
love it. Oh my gosh.
Nothing happens there. So you want to make it obvious for yourself. You want to
Okay.
say, what is some actionable things I can truly do? And we'll talk a little more. How do you fit that into your life, or into that sheet of paper in a second there? But also
Okay.
make it attractive. Make it something you want to do, right? Something that's tasty maybe for you. If you're thinking about your eating habits and you like a crunch, instead of eating potato chips, maybe eat a carrot and have a dip that you love, but find a way to make it more attractive. And then
Yeah,
make it.
I know when am working out, I don't ask me why, but I like to look cute. And when you're heavier, there's not a lot of cute styles or things like that. So for me, it's like, not only is it my why, I want to feel good in my clothes, and not necessarily always do I have to look cute because you're sweating and your hair's a hot mess and you have no makeup on, whatever. But it's the fashion these days that you look good in your workout clothes. And so for me personally,
Mhm.
if I'm working at home, sometimes I don't even wear a bra. Oops, I said it, but but because I don't work outside the home. But when I'm in the neighborhood and things like that, I want to be presentable, or at least look
Good.
cute. And I like the fact that you're making it attractive, and anymore you can get really inexpensive, cute, clean, cute styles for workouts and stuff like that. But I really like that. I think I like that. I'm like, yeah, make it cute, make it attractive.
No,
Okay,
and
I
I
want to
love
work
your
out. Okay, that's
analogy
good.
that you just used, right?
Yeah,
If you want to work out and you want to look good, get a nice workout outfit, right? Get
yeah,
some nice sneakers, make
yeah.
yourself feel, and that could be your reward. So hold on to
Right,
that. That can be a reward. To
right,
say, if I do
right,
this, I'll be able to buy this, right?
right.
So those are
Love
some nice
that.
things, right? That you
Yeah,
can do there. And then make it satisfying. Make sure you're getting some kind of appreciation, gratification from what you're doing. It
love
could
it.
be
Yes,
small, but just find a way to
yes.
do that. So you remember that piece of paper that you guys have in front of you? I'm going to assume you got the paper in front of you.
Oh, they
On
do.
one side, on one side, you already have your typical day. You have the habits. You're writing down everything. You're thinking
Yep.
about, when do I do this? When do I do that? The other side, you're identifying what your ideal day is going to look like, right?
Okay.
Meaning your day life, you in your vision, your why, what do you want it to look like? You start to build that out. So
Okay.
those are going to start to be the habits that's going to be replacing the bad habits.
Love it.
So now
Yeah,
you
love
have
it.
that there, because you got to do that inner work in order for this to stick. So the next part I wanted to talk to you guys about is the habit loop. So there's some really great books, and I'll talk to you guys about the books that I got a lot of these resources from at the
Okay.
back end. But one that I wanted to pull out is the habit loop in action. So what this tells you, I thought this was such a great visual for us. If you see here, you have the cue and you have the reward and you have the routine. So in that piece of paper you wrote down your habits, you wrote down your day. Then when you're thinking about it, you're thinking, when does the cue happen? Like for me, when I was traveling up and down the East Coast, when I come back from a business trip after being back down 5 days, all I wanted to do was take a hot bath and drink a glass of wine. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why this resonates with me. So that's all. I don't want to see the kids. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to decompress. But that wasn't a habit that was serving me at that point.
Okay.
So what I had to do was find another habit to replace it with, but the cue would always come. I would always get that feeling like, oh my gosh, it's been a long trip. Now what I do a little differently, I start to take a deep breath. I start to include some meditation there. Instead of the glass of wine, I take a moment in the Uber while I'm driving back home, relaxing, taking a deep breath, getting into state for myself. Then I go into the reward. I get to see the family. So you see how I just replaced?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the
Instead of
beginning,
following the cue, you have the cue that's there,
yep,
but you changed what you did. You did a completely different action.
exactly.
Love
And
it.
one step I would tell you too, Nicole, is if I'm going to be very transparent, the
Yeah.
first thing I did was replace the wine with another drink, right?
Okay.
I replaced it with something else that still was tasting like wine. For me, some kombucha. So I replaced it with kombucha in a wine glass. And then as that went along, I didn't want that anymore. Then I said, okay, I can start something else. So I started the meditation piece there. So
Love
as
it.
I was telling you, yeah. So, and the reason I shared that way too for you guys, and I just wanted to go back and give you that full level of detail, you have to start small.
Okay.
Right? If I wanted to stick, when I was trying, I did the meditation in the car, but I still needed something. I still needed a drink. I still needed something that I can just relax with. And that's where that came in.
Yeah,
So
that
the
makes
other
total
part,
sense. I love it.
so let's go through this, right? You want to identify the routines. You have your sheet of paper. So you should have a visual of your routines. You should be good to go. Then you want to experiment to your point, right? Is it a nice outfit, right? Experiment with the rewards. Is it going to be the nice outfit? Is it going to be the sneakers? Is it going to be a date night? What is it going to be? You're the boss.
Yeah.
Figure it out, right? Then you want to isolate the cues, right? What is the trigger? Just like we see here, what triggers me, right? Is your trigger maybe at 2:00 in the day? Maybe you get super tired and you just feel like you need to eat something. I don't know, but
Right.
you're going to know it for yourself.
Yeah,
Identify
absolutely.
your
Absolutely.
triggers, right? Then the next thing there you want to do is, what is the most common cue? The most common cue for us is usually the time and location, right? The time of the day and the location.
Yeah,
Right?
after dinner, I'm ready for my glass of wine or my second glass or my third glass,
My
right?
fourth glass.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, this makes total sense. Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to make sure you do that. And then the number C I have there is to create an implementation intention strategy. All that means is you got to be intentional with this to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, right? This is going to be my new habit at this day, at this time.
Yeah.
Location, time
Love
and
it.
location. So now you're going to have it nice, crystal clear for yourself. So if you were doing the activity, you would already have everything kind of in front of you that you can start planning when you're going to be able to do this and be strategic with it at the same time.
That's great.
Right? So the next one, I just thought it was a nice visual. It's the current habits. It kind of tell you your current habits, your sheet of paper, right? Your current habits,
Okay.
your new habits, your existing habits you like, right?
Yeah.
And then all you're going to be doing is kind of exactly what you said in the beginning, replacing your bad habits with your new habits, but you're keeping your cues, your triggers, because those triggers are part of you. It'll become automatic.
Right.
You're just going to keep it going. So that's all this is explaining to you guys. Any questions, Nicole? Any questions you think your members would have or your
You know,
podcast
at this point, it's one of those things where I guess I would ask you. So, you know, in the beginning, I mentioned that it takes 21 days to make that habit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what is something that you would tell the members that if they, you know, so say for example, they are working out 3 days in a row,
Yes.
and on the 4th day they don't work out. And on the 5th day, they don't work out. And on the 6th day, they're like, I'll just wait until Monday, right? So I guess the question is, when you've fallen off the wagon, because I feel like this is such a big thing, that when you fall off the wagon, when is a good time to start over again? Or is it the words over? I mean, what should we say, or what should we be doing when we fall off the wagon? When's a good time to take another run at it?
Yes. So that's a really great question. The first thing I would say is take a deep breath and give yourself some grace. We're all humans, which means that this will happen. If anyone sits and tells you that you're going to have habits and it's going to stick and you'll never have an up and down, then they're lying to you. Let's just be straight. So the first thing I would say is just take a breath, give yourself some grace. And then the next thing I would say is go back to your why, right? Is your why not strong enough for you? Because if that's your identity and if that's your why and you understand why you need to do this. You understand the impact to you personally, the impact to your family, the impact to others,
Yeah.
and you're still not doing it, then the next thing I would do after that, after you identify your why, and if maybe it needs to tweak, if the why is fine, then maybe it's the activity you're doing. Maybe you need to tweak it. Maybe the time, maybe you're not supposed to run up and down the block. Maybe you're supposed to go to the gym, right? Oh, maybe you need to get a trainer. You need to see, okay, what is the activity I'm doing that I'm not getting pleasure from? Because we'll avoid pain no matter what. We'll avoid pain.
Right.
So with that being
You're
said,
fine.
okay. So with that being said, you just have to kind of do that work yourself and say, okay, boom, this is the next step. This is what we need to do.
Okay.
There.
Okay. I love it.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Are we done with the presentation?
We are pretty much done. What I was going to leave your folks with is, what I would leave your folks with is this. The secret to permanently breaking a habit is to find a habit that you love.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last thing here is never miss twice. You asked me that question. I knew this slide was coming up for you. So this is where the grace comes in, but be realistic with yourself. If you miss your workout one time, give yourself grace. The second time, give yourself a little more grace and start doing the work we just talked about. Go back to your why, go back and see if you can make it a little differently. Then the next thing I would say, get up and do something.
Love it.
Even if it's a small step. Do something, because we all know typically once you get up and you put that outfit that looks so damn cute on you, you want to do something. You started doing some jumping jacks or some, you'll do more than 5 minutes. But just get up and move.
Got it. Love it.
Just move.
Yeah. Love it.
So the last thing, the other thing here is habits will never finish. And you tied this back earlier. You talked about make it a lifestyle. And I saw this quote, and I said, this is so beautiful, because habits is not the finish line. So a lot of people think, okay, the outcome is I want to run the race. The outcome is this. No, this is a journey. This is the rest of your life. So as you design your life, Nicole, make sure you're designing the habits that you love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so crazy, because I know that, when we look at
I have that there for you. So
it's interesting, because I was just getting ready to say it's probably one of the reasons, and the biggest reason, that I have chosen to become an accountability coach is because when my tribe is showing up, it encourages me to show up. And I actually did a little test that if I didn't show up, if I was out of commission per se, right, for 4 days in a row, what were they still doing? And the numbers start dropping, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, wow, I can't believe they're not able to do it on their own. But the reality is that, they are giving themselves grace, and I know who you are, but I also want to know and encourage you that once it becomes a lifestyle, and again, keep in mind, I have tribe members that have been with me for a minute, and they continue. It's just like they're showing up for themselves. They're showing up because it's become their lifestyle. And I love this next slide. Go ahead.
So the other part I wanted to share is, in order for a habit to stick, Nicole, you got to have an accountability buddy, right? Get an accountability partner like yourself, Nicole, someone who will not be scared to tell you the truth. That will push back on you. That would say, you committed to doing this, you haven't done this, right? So really this works, and a lot of people don't take advantage of it. So I just wanted to lead with that, to go there. And then just to say, you asked me the question before we answered it, be kind to yourself, right? And then it just ties back to the things we talked about. Know yourself, and know that in the beginning of all things is wisdom. So have some wisdom, go back to your why, connect with yourself, and that's how you're going to strengthen your foundation. And then your habits will stick. And then
absolutely
resources.
Love it. Oh, these are the books?
These are the books, resources that your team, I leverage to put the presentation together, so they can go in, read the books. Power of Habits, awesome resources. And thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Oh, you're so welcome. That's so cute. You're so welcome. Okay, so do me a favor and unshare the screen real quick. and it's just going to go back to you and I. There we are. So what's really crazy is I don't see, I'm watching the video and I'm so in tune to the video and I absolutely love it. But also I wanted to show my members, look at all of her books behind her. So what's interesting is for my tribe members, and I'm just going to take 2 more seconds of your time. You've been so gracious with it this morning. Thank you so much again. What does your personal, if someone wanted to create a habit of personal development, I've always coached that it should be a minimum of 10 minutes a day. And it could be through a podcast. And, you know, personal development really looks different for everyone.
Absolutely.
And with all of your books behind you, and I'm not sure if they're all about business or if they're all about motivation or what they're all about, but can you tell me what your personal development looks like?
Sure. I'll be happy to tell you.
Okay.
So I'm a person, if I'm going to preach something, if I'm going to coach someone on it, I need to live it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a power hour that I do every morning. I wake up way before my kids. Anyone with kids understand, you got to start early.
Right.
So my day typically starts around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I get up at 5. I get a couple of things done around the house. Then the next thing I do, I get my clothes, get my gym stuff on, my nice, cute outfit because I want to work out. Okay. I put my sneakers on. I go for a run outside. I need to be in nature. Like this time of the year, I'm outside, I'm running, I'm exercising, I'm getting that. Then I'm spending some time in my garden. Then it comes to personal. While I'm doing all of that, I am listening to either a podcast or I'm listening to a book on Audible. So all the books here I read, but only sometimes after I listened first. Okay. So if a book is there because it's quality. So I only purchase it when it's quality. And then I pick it out the shelf when I need it. Like, for example, when we were talking about habits, I was like, oh my God, let me go to my reference point. Boom. I pulled the books. I read through a couple of things. I put some things together. So I think personal development needs to be something you do every single day. Yeah. But then you also have to be strategic with it because sometimes we tend to go down the rabbit hole. We try to learn everything, instead of asking yourself some questions like, when can I use this? How can I use it? Why should I use this in my business or my life? So I kind of do those. Then the other parts of my morning is meditation. I don't do long, drawn out meditation, to be honest, Nicole. I do some short, simple stuff. I maybe like 5 minutes. I do my 4, 7, 8, where I just breathe in, hold my breath for 4 minutes, 7 minutes, and then I kind of let it go. And then 8 minutes. I just do that. And then I do journaling. You have to journal, I think, because it's the inner work. Yes. Our mindset is something we work on every single day. And in order for a habit to stick, Nicole,
oh my gosh, you literally are like what I teach and preach. I love this connection.
You've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. If you don't do the work, your habits will not stick. Yeah. Because it's a mental game. It's mental.
It really is the mindset, right? And I feel like when, the opportunity of being able to use a journal or journaling. And of course, I created the journal pages that I actually wrote down. I couldn't find it in a journal. So I just started opening a blank page and I noticed the habit of what I write, what my intent is for the day. And at the end of the evening, I close with what I'm grateful for. And that just humbles me and it keeps me grounded. And I absolutely love that. But it is the inside work because when you set your intent, you know that it's going to be a great day. Even there may be some bad things that happen during the day or upsetting things or distracting things. But the reality is you walk out your front door going, it's going to be a great day, right? Because that's the intent you set. So, I just can't thank you enough. And reality is it's so important that you have exactly that power hour, that power 30 minutes, whatever the case may be. So for me, it's moving the body 30 minutes. I want to do my personal development for 10. And then of course, taking 10 to 15 for my journaling, right? And then it's coffee and whatever else, but it is the walk. And it's so important to continue to walk the walk because that's when actions, the habits we're creating become a lifestyle. And that's really what it's all about. I love my tribe dearly and don't get me wrong. I want you all to be with me for the rest of our lives, but eventually I want to let you be and have it become your lifestyle. So Felicia, I cannot thank you enough. I will always make sure that I have this updated. So as you update your social media, for those that are just watching this video in the future, be sure to check all the links below and be sure to follow Felicia on her social media. I want to thank you, and it is with a grateful heart that you took the time to share with my tribe your amazing message and your amazing steps to creating amazing habits. Yes, girl, you rock.
You are welcome.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Felicia, thank you so much. Tribe, you heard her. Do the work. It all starts with your mindset and doing the work, because you know what? You deserve the best life, right? And holding people accountable is absolute love. But when I hold you accountable, I'm saying you're capable of a bigger game. All right, guys, make it a great day and we'll talk soon. Thanks, Felicia. Have a great one, honey.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.